Hello and welcome back to The Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt as always, and this is the only podcast with an in-house cat. There is a cat behind me. I'm gesticulating towards my cat. You cannot see my cat. She will probably leave because of the screaming. She's being a loaf right now. I love that there are different words that we use to determine what a cat's doing and the position that they are in. We like to call it the chicken as well because our cat isn't quite as fluffy as some other breeds. I have no idea what breed of cat she is. She was a rescue, bless her. We love her very much. But I like to call it the chicken pose because it almost looks like a raw chicken before you cook it, when it's like, you've got the main body and like the legs and they're all bumpy and whatnot. Don't ask me. It's the loaf pose for more common context. Anyway, I have things. I'm so sorry that last week I didn't have an episode out. I just couldn't find a time to record. I had absolutely no topics of conversation, and I just thought, I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to leave it for a week. So, yay, I hope you liked my car. If you want me to do like a video of my car, I could totally do that. Like a nugget video, as if I'm Dank Pods, because I wish I was successful. Anyway, she's just gone into like a curled up pose. I could just talk about my cat, Anyway, two things have happened this week. It was a very fun week, and I'm very glad to have the weekend and just relax. So, we'll start with the more interesting thing, and we'll come back to the other thing. I put together a Halloween costume. I don't know if I talked about this previously, but I put together a Halloween costume, and I had a great time with it. It was really nervous because I am not used to dress up at all. I do not know how cosplayers do it on a regular. I mean, I suppose if you're doing it regularly, you get used to it, but how do you not just feel completely self-conscious about the fact that you look like an idiot? Even if you don't look like an idiot, like everyone who saw my costume said, wow, that looks really cool. I get exactly who you are. Even my parents, who don't know who the character is, said, oh yeah, that looks really nice. It's all come together. So I decided to go to the little gaming event that we do in my little, I don't know how you say it. It's just a group society thing I go to regularly. And they did a Halloween gaming night, and they said, yo, come dressed up. We'll do a competition and whatnot. And I went as Joker from Persona 5. If you'd guessed that, well done. If you hadn't, I'm not surprised because I didn't tell anyone other than the people who I was trying to ask for help. So the costume was a nightmare, I won't lie. It was budget but also hard to do for some reason. And the thing is, I went with Joker because I thought I'm about the right build. I will need a long jacket with the split tailcoat. I'll need some red gloves. I already have a black set of trousers and a black shirt that will just do for the under element, and then I've got some black shoes. Sorted. And I can make a mask. That was the easy part, the mask, because my mum had some old sort of masquerade masks, so I just modified them, cut them out a bit, and then drew the design on them, because it's just a white mask with the black outline. And I even built it so that it had these little foam hangers on them so that they would sit on top of my glasses, which meant that it still gave that anime floating mask look without having to have any sort of string or attachment method. And it was super comfortable because they could just pull off and on my glasses. So that was really good. Really happy with that, how they came out. The coat was the thing I put more focus into, and you'll find out later that that was a mistake. So I was looking on Amazon, on costume websites for a long tail coat basically, and I could not find anything exactly like what I wanted, but I found a bunch of stuff that was yeah, that's kind of close enough. But then I was getting panicky because I was thinking, well, if I'm ordering something online, I need to order it well in advance to arrive. And then what threw me out completely is I asked the organizer of the event, I was like, yo, is it going to be this week, the Wednesday before Halloween, or is it going to be the Wednesday directly after Halloween, i.e. the 1st of November? And they were like, oh, it's the week before. And I went, oh, I'd been planning as if it was the week after Halloween. So I had one less week to put together my costume. Turns out, my dad was like, yo, why don't we get you a lab coat from my workplace, because they just have old spare lab coats that they don't use anymore, and we'll dye it black. Awesome. I immediately was like, yeah, that sounds great. A bunch of dye is cheaper than the coats that I was looking at buying. They were 15, 20 quid. Awesome. We'll order the dye, get that in, get the coat done, sorted. And that's where the problems began. It kind of went downhill rapidly from that point. So we tried dyeing the jacket or the lab coat on the Saturday beforehand. And I was impressed that it went from stark white to a sort of loose grey colour, like almost the grey of my laptop. Not really dark grey, but not super light. But I was like, this is not black. It's not what I was going for. I was assuming that it's bright white, we've got intense black dye, it was just going to go straight black. Not at all. And the even more annoying thing is there was so much of the black dye left in the washing machine. So there I'm like, the coat hasn't worked. I'm freaking out about the washing machine. And I said, right, here's what happens. We're going to try and clean the washing machine as well as we can. And based on the loads of washing we've done today, it's thankfully not dyeing our clothes black. And then I decided on the Sunday I was going to go to the charity shops nearby and see if I could find a jacket. So Sunday rolls around, I check the times when the shops are open, I go up there, and lo and behold, I walk in, find where the coats are, and there is just this saviour of my life. This beautiful, full, proper leather jacket that's long, has a split tail coat, fits me wonderfully, looks great, £10. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. The amount of luck I needed to have that happen at that exact moment, astronomical. And people who know me know I have absolutely terrible luck. Like, if I'm playing hero in Smash Bros, right, I will top deck Kamikaze at least 5 times between one game, which isn't possible because we play 3 stocks, but you get what I mean, right? I have absolutely terrible luck, and this was just the most incredible thing I've ever seen. I got a little bit paranoid because I thought, this is the first charity shop I'm in. I'm waiting for the other charity shop to open in about 20 minutes. So I was like, let me go check the other shop because I'll kick myself if I don't check that shop and there was something better there. So I waited 20 minutes out in the cold. It was like 8 degrees or something. Went looking around this second charity shop. Absolutely nothing of the comparable quality. Immediately booked it back to the first one and bought the jacket. I was kind of thinking, how likely is it that another person of my exact same size will come in, find that jacket and want to buy it at this exact moment? Very unlikely. So, thankfully, got a jacket, looked superb. And the fact that it was actually proper leather, even more amazing. Even my dad was like, wow, this looks really nice. I kind of wish I could have it. I was like, no, I'm having it now because it looks cool. So that's one awesome thing. The jacket eventually worked out really nicely. I had the mask down, that was all sorted, had even the hooking mechanism. The gloves though, the gloves were an absolute nightmare because he has these kind of like thin, almost driving style gloves, but they need to be bright red, but thin, not like knit wool gloves and not latex gloves. It was a nightmare. That was the hardest part to find, was these stupid gloves. I cannot believe that I had such trouble with it. I even asked people, I asked friends, I asked co-workers, I was like, do you have anything comparable that I could just borrow for the night? And they were like, oh no, or oh, it's women's stuff that I've got so it doesn't fit. And I was like, nightmare. But what I did in the end is I bought a pair of just standard winter like thin knit gloves that were bright red. They are incredibly red, like violently assaulting your eyes red, which is perfect. That's exactly what they needed to be. And the nice thing as well is because they were a little small, they fit my hands really snugly. So they really fit the shape of my hands and looked much more like what they were supposed to. They didn't quite have the pointed tips like a formed glove would, but they got the idea across perfectly. They looked really nice. They fit the costume really well. So in the end, it looked really nice. And the first time I tried it on and took a photo to see what I looked like, I was like, yeah, I've done it. I've achieved exactly what I wanted to. And the minute I walked into the room, people were like, yo! And they got exactly who it was. There was no ambiguity with who I was going for, which was really nice. And even people who didn't know particularly the games or had never played the games, they still recognized the character, which I think is a personal achievement, that I managed to hit the mark so well that even people who don't know it do know it, if that makes sense. So yeah, overall, great success. Can't complain too much about that. And now I've got a really cool black leather jacket that I can wear. I don't really know what I'd wear with though. It's quite a bold look, I'd say, the black leather jacket, so might take some getting used to. Anyway, quick side bit, this week as well, also decided to go to a Smash Bros local with a large pool of people. It was an absolute car crash. Again, it went 2-0 again, where I played 2 sets and lost both of them, which is kind of what I expected. I had not been practicing and was not prepared at all, but I got some useful information out of it, and I did have fun. So that's a good thing. And I think I'm improving. Despite the result being the same, I think I'm improving. So that's a step in the right direction. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Have a fantastic Halloween, because I know it's coming up after you've listened to this episode, presumably. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.